Aemond Targaryen, who would henceforth be known as Aemond the Kinslayer, to his foes returned to King's Landing, having won the support of Storm's End and the Stormlands for his brother Aegon, and the undying enmity of Queen Rhaenyra and the Black Council. If he thought to receive a hero's welcome on his return home, he was sorely disappointed. Queen Alicent went pale when she learned what he had done, crying to herself, "Mother, have mercy on us all." Nor was Sir Otto Hightower pleased. "You only lost one eye," he reported to have told him. "How could you be so blind?" The king himself did not share their concerns. Aegon welcomed Prince Aemoned home with a great feast, hailed him as the true blood of the dragon, announced that he had made a good beginning, much to the discomfort of his mother and the rest of the Green Council. Meanwhile, over on Dragonstone, Queen Rhaenyra collapsed when she was told of Luke's death. No one was able to console her. Jace was still away on his mission north, while Luke's younger brother Joffrey swore a terrible oath of vengeance against Prince Aemond and Lord Boros Baratheon for his role in his brother's death. Only the intervention of the ever-calm and resilient sea snake, Lucearys Valeryon, and Princess Rhaenys kept the young boy from mounting his own dragon at once and flying to the capital to his own certain death. As the Black Council sat to consider how to strike back, and even seek vengeance, a raven arrived from Harrenhal. A message had arrived from Prince Daemon. "An eye for an eye, a son for a son," Prince Daemon wrote. "Lucerys shall be avenged." Let it not be forgotten that in his youth Daemon Targaryen had been prince of the city. His face and laugh a familiar sight to cut purses, whores and gamblers in Flea Bottom. Every gang leader, every thief, every innkeep still had a soft spot for their prince. Daemon had friends in the low places of King's Landing, and still countless followers planted among the Gold Cloaks from his short time as their Lord Commander. Most importantly, and unbeknownst to King Aegon, the Hand, Otto Hightower, or the Queen Dowager Alicent, he had allies at court as well. There was one other go-between, a special friend he trusted utterly, who knew the wine sinks and rat pits that festered in the shadows of the Red Keep, as well as Daemon himself once had, and moved easily through the shadows of the city. The pale stranger had reached out knowing their services would be needed, by secret ways, to set a terrible vengeance in motion. Amidst the stews of Flea Bottom, Prince Daemon's go-between found a suitable instrument for vengeance. One had been a sergeant in the city watch, big and brutal. He had lost his gold cloak for beating a whore to death whilst in a drunken rage. Since then, he had gained somewhat of a brutal reputation around the city. The other was a rat catcher in the Red Keep, and had easy access around the castle, even though in some secret passageways forgotten to time. Their true names are lost to history, but they are remembered as Blood and Cheese, names that would go down in infamy. The hidden doors and secret tunnels that Maegor the Cruel had built were as familiar to the rat catcher as the rats he hunted, and it's still not clear today exactly where the two villains went. Using a forgotten passageway, Cheese led Blood into the heart of the castle, unseen by any guards. Some say the quarry was King Aegon himself, but Aegon was accompanied by the Kingsguard wherever he went, day and night, a task a man of Blood's skill set was not suited for. Even Cheese knew of no way into Maegor's holdfast, save other than the drawbridge that spanned the dry moat, and its formidable iron spikes. The Tower of the Hand was less secure, however. The two men crept up through the walls, bypassing the spearmen posted at the lone tower door, so Otto's room were of no interest to them. This was to be a personal attack, not a political one. Instead they slipped into his daughter's chambers, one floor below. Queen Alicent had taken up residence there after the death of King Viserys. When her son Aegon moved into Maegor's holdfast with his own queen, once inside, Cheese bound and gagged the Dowager Queen, whilst Blood strangled her bedmaid to death. They then settled down to wait, for they knew it was the custom of Queen Helena to bring her children to see their grandmother every night before they went to bed. Every day, without fail. Blind to her danger, the Queen appeared as dusk was setting over the castle, while the guards were switching shifts, accompanied by her 3 children. The twins, Jaehaerys and Jaehaera, were 6, Maelor only 2. As they entered the apartment, Helena was holding Maelor's little hand and calling out her mother's name. Blood barred the door and slew the Queen's guardman, while Cheers appeared to snatch up Maelor. "Scream and you all die," Blood told her grace. Queen Helena kept calm, it is said. "Who are you?" she demanded of the 2. "Debt collectors," said Cheese. "An eye for an eye, a son for a son. We only want the one. To square things off. We are fair men. We won't hurt the rest of you fine folk. Not one hair. Which one of your sons do you want to lose, your grace?" Once she realised what he meant, Queen Helena pleaded with the men to kill her instead. "A wife is not a son," said Blood. "It has to be a boy." Cheese warned the Queen to make her choice soon, before Blood grew bored. "Pick," he said, "or we will kill all of them." On her knees, weeping, Helaena named her youngest son Maelor. Perhaps she thought the boy was too young to understand, or perhaps it was because the older boy, Jaehaerys, was King Aegon's firstborn son and heir, next in line to the Iron Throne. "You hear that, boy?" Cheese whispered to Maelor. "Your mother wants you dead." The hulking swordsman slew Prince Jaehaerys, striking off the boy's head with a single blow. The queen began to scream. But the strangest thing of all is that the Ratcatcher and the Butcher were true to their word. They did no further harm to Queen Helaena or her children, but rather fled with the prince's head in hand. A hue and a cry went up, but Cheese knew secret passageways that the guards did not, and the killers made their escape. 2 days later, Blood was seized at the Gate of the Gods, trying to leave King's Landing with the head of Prince Jaehaerys hidden in one of his saddle stacks. Under torture, he confessed that he'd been taking it to Harrenhal to collect his reward from Prince Daemon. He also gave up a description of the whore he claimed to hide them, an older woman, foreign by her accent, cloaked and hooded, very pale. The other harlots called her Misery. After 13 days of torment, Blood was at last allowed to die. Queen Alicent had commanded Larys Clubfoot to learn of his true name, so that she might bathe in the blood of his wife and children. But our sources do not say if this occurred. So Luther Largent and his Goldcloak searched the streets of Silk, top to bottom, and turned out and stripped every harlot in King's Landing, but no trace of Cheese or Misery was ever found. In his grief and fury, King Aegon commanded that the city's ratcatchers be taken out and hanged, and this was done. Sir Otto Hightower brought 100 cats into the Red Keep to take their place. Though Blood and Cheese had spared her life, Queen Helaena cannot be said to have survived that fateful dusk. Afterwards, she would not eat, nor bathe, nor leave her chambers, and she could no longer stand and look upon her son Maelor, knowing that she had named him to die. The king had no recourse but to take the boy from her and to give him over to their mother, the Dowager Queen Alicent, to raise as if he were her own. Aegon and his wife slept separately thereafter, and Queen Helaena sank deeper and deeper into madness, while the king raged and drank, cursing his sister's name. But in truth, we do not know how much of a role Rhaenyra played in the attack. This was brutal. Despite all her threats, this very much had the fingerprints of the rogue prince.